All right, so we are past module number 3 and moving on to module number 4 in the Coursera course, Learning How to Learn. So in the fourth module, we talk about Renaissance Learning and Unlocking Your Potential Part 1 and Renaissance Learning Unlocking Your Potential Part 2. So in the first part of the module, how to become a better learner, introduction to Renaissance learning and unlocking your potential, create a lively visual metaphor or analogy, no need for genius envy, change your thoughts, change your life, and then the retrieval practice. So in the second part of the module, we go over the value of teamwork, a test checklist, head start, jump to easy, final helpful hints for tests, summary for module 4, and then wrap up by the instructors. So this is a bit of a longer module with an hour and a half of videos, 11 minutes of reading. So this is the longest module by a good margin. But I'm going to dive in here and see what I come across, and then I'll report back. All right, I just wrapped up module number 4 in the Coursera course, Learning How to Learn. And we go through some higher level techniques and concepts. It starts off with some strategies about creating metaphors and analogies. They say metaphors and analogy can help you overcome previous concepts that may be blocking you from getting the right concept. They also transfer knowledge in a way that's hard through writing. Scientists use this, conceptualize different concepts. They also talk about having chunks ingrained into your brain to allow them to be able to use in more creative ways. So if you have a chunk of information in your brain that's solidified, you're able to use it, manipulate it, and kind of create with it in ways that you wouldn't be able to if you weren't as familiar with it. So the more you have these chunks solidified in your mind and the greater your library of chunks, then you're going to be able to use these chunks in more creative ways. They also talk about imposter syndrome, which is feeling inadequate for performance that you've either put on or expected to put on. They say it's very normal and everyone deals with it. So basically, imposter syndrome is something to be overcome. Embrace the virtue of the less brilliant. So you got to have perseverance to get through anything. Even if you have skill, you still need perseverance to get through subject matter. And if you don't have skill, then you're going to be relying on perseverance to get through a subject matter. So don't have genius envy was the title of the section. And it really just means understand that you're going to have to work hard, expect to work hard, and use your perseverance to get through the struggles and obstacles that you come up against. Now into the second half of the module, they talk about the value of teamwork and group work, which is a bit of a double-edged sword. If you do have other people who are on the ball, like to meet up on time, go through the subject matter while staying focused, then it can really be beneficial to have study groups and to bounce ideas off people. But at the same time, if people show up late, show up unprepared, and get distracted during the group, then it's not really beneficial and can really just serve as a distraction at the end of the day. So they basically have a list where you trying to understand the written material. Did you go through the exercise materials? Did you outline the problems before meeting with a group? Did you contact your professor to review any materials that you didn't kind of get the grasp of? And they have a long list of basically just good ideas of how to study essentially. They also talk about test taking and using breathing during test taking. So in order to use proper breathing, you should have both your front and back expanding. If you have shallow breathing, you'll tend to be more hunched over and just your chest will be expanding and contracting. Whereas if you're deep breathing into your stomach, both the front and back of your stomach should expand and contract. So getting good breathing, especially to start out a test, I found to be really helpful. And it does make sense to kind of get you into the zone. Talk about the start hard, jump to easy test taking method, which is go to the easy questions first and then get warmed up. And then once you're feeling confident, move over to the harder questions. You go to a harder question right off the bat and get stumped, then it can kind of put a mental block in you thinking, well, if I can't get this one, I can't get any others. But if you start off with the easier questions, it gives you that confidence and that feedback cycle that, oh, I can get this, I can get this. And then you start moving your way up into the harder, more difficult material. But that is a wrap on Coursera's Learning How to Learn. We went through module 1, 2, 3, and 4. Probably takes about 5 hours overall to get through it, 5 to 6 hours, depending on your pace. So it is a bit of a commitment, but there is a lot of good material, and they really do keep it as concise as possible. And they also give good recall practice by having the quizzes at the end of the modules and intermittently in between the modules, even section 1, section 2 of each module. So the course is set up very well. They practice what they preach, which is nice, and they expose you to a lot of different concepts and a lot of different theory in how to get the most out of your study time. So if you are going to dive into this boot camp, I definitely recommend tackling this Coursera course, Learning How to Learn by Dr. Barbara Oakley. It's definitely worth your while to get off on the right foot. That is my review, and we're about to dive into the next videos on learning with Ali Abdal. So I'll catch you in that one.